Hello, and welcome to the Yarning Over the Days podcast, and this is episode 7. I want to welcome any new viewers and also welcome to any returning viewers. Thank you for taking the time out to come and hear all about my knitting, sewing, and crochet adventures. You can find me on Ravelry and also Instagram as Cleo, cleocmc, and I also have a blog, yarningoverthedays.wordpress.com, where I keep the show notes. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to prolong the time, and I have a few things to show you or to share with you, and I just want to get started. We're going to have finished objects today, then we'll move into the works in progress. I'll talk a little bit about my acquired treasures, which aren't many, and then I'll have general chatter and maybe a little bit of what's catching my interest. So we'll see how it goes and if the time allows. So I actually finished quite a few sewing items these past few weeks, and that was surprising because I didn't know if I would have a lot of time because I was preparing and getting ready for a final exam, and I had a final paper that was due that was very intense and took maybe about 3 to 4 days of intense work just to put it all together, because it was kind of one of those papers that you had to get resources from a variety of different areas. But it was all turned in and the class went really well. I received an A, which is always a really good thing. And so that class is over, and now we started the new semester on Monday. So I had a few days break in between that class ending and also the new semester. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to get as much crafting done in these few days. It was like a mini break. It was about maybe a 3-day break as I can, because I, of course, was starting the new semester, and I actually wanted some staple items for my wardrobe. And I told you previously that I want to create a handmade wardrobe. So I was looking out or trying to add more items to my closet that will work really well throughout the year and for school. And so when I started doing that, then that's when my sewing bug just caught on. But I also did get some knitting done also, because in anticipation of the busy semester, my nephew, who's due in November, I knew that November would get here before I knew it. And also babies who may be prone to arrive early. And so I knew I wanted to finish the items for the baby before August ended. So I found some time to knit, and I'm so excited about what I knitted. So I'll share that with you first. I was talking about in the episode, I'm not sure, a few episodes back, that my sister and her husband were expecting a baby boy who's due in November. And I wasn't sure exactly what pattern to make. And there were quite a few wonderful suggestions from some of you, and I actually subscribed to some new podcasts because of these suggestions, which are really wonderful suggestions about podcasters that were pregnant or expecting, and there's one who had a grandbaby on the way, and so they suggested they were creating baby patterns, and so I was on the lookout for the perfect baby pattern. So then Aiden of the Knitting Month podcast, he created the most adorable little cardigan for his godson, which was the Jones cardigan. I think that's what it's called. So, and it was by Tin Can Knits. Then I started thinking, I think I have a Tin Can Knits pattern. But I was like, maybe I should do a Tin Can Knits pattern. I was thinking about, I didn't know if I was going to do the Jones cardigan. And then I was also thinking about the Gramps cardigan. I think they also designed that. So I was then looking at the Hey Sister podcast, and Rachel, yes, I think it's Rachel, like 2 episodes back, she created so many baby things, the most adorable baby things for a baby girl. And then she showed a flat slide sweater by Tin Can Knits that she created for her baby girl. And it was so adorable. And I was thinking, wait, I printed off the flat slide sweater pattern for myself like over a year ago, because I wanted a cozy sweater for the winter while I was in North Carolina. Well, it was over a year ago now, because I've been out of North Carolina for a couple of years. And so I already had the pattern printed, and I immediately cast it on. And I completed the little sweater for the baby, little Junior. And he's going to be due, as I told you, in a few months. And I think it turned out so adorable. It's such a simplistic knit, but I really like the garter panel that's on the side of the sleeves. And everything else is stuck in there. And it's a free pattern by Tin Can Knits, which is amazing. And I really like it. I think the raglan shape is so adorable. So I then went to Ravelry and I started looking at the entire collection. It was called the Simple Collection by Tin Can Knits. And they had a hat in the collection, which I thought would be the perfect match for the little sweater. And so I finished the hat within a night. I was just looking at Netflix and maybe a few podcasts, and I was just finished it up in a night. And I made the pom-pom, and it's always exciting to use my pom-pom maker. And so I was excited about pulling that out. And what I did, I'm not sure if you can see the detail, but I actually added some Cascade 220 Superwash in baby denim to the pom-pom. Oh, and also the yarn used for this project is Red Heart with Love, and the color is Bluebell. And I said I really wanted to just use an acrylic yarn. My sister's really low maintenance when it comes to the children. There are currently 6 children in the house, and baby will make 7. And so she's going to want something that she can easily throw into the wash. And so I wanted an acrylic that was durable, yet had a really nice feel to it. And the Red Heart with Love has a nice cushy feel to it. And so I used that, and the color is Bluebell. Now for the sweater, I did not do gauge for the sweater nor for the hat, but I did keep track of my measurements. So I used the size 6 and size 8 needles that was suggested for the sweater. And yeah, and I knew that my row gauge was larger than what was suggested in the pattern. So I kept track of that during the sleeve portion. And there was a section in the sleeves that said, like, repeat the last 6 stitches. I was supposed to repeat those last 6 rows for another repeat, but I didn't do the entire 6 rows. I think I only did about 4 rows. The details are on my Ravelry page. And I did that to make sure that I had the correct length for the sleeves, which was 5.5 inches from the pit of the armhole. And that worked out really nicely. And that was the only thing that I changed. Other than that, I kept the pattern as printed. And when it came to the, oh, and also I did the magic loop for the sleeves because I didn't have a really good pair of size 8 double pointed needles that I wanted to use. I have a plastic pair that I'm not a fan of, and I don't really like knitting with plastic needles at all. And so that's why I did the magic loop. So then when it came to the little hat, the pattern suggested 16-inch needles, and those were too large, of course, for the little baby hat. I made the smallest size for both the hat and sweater, which was the 0 to 6 months. So I was going to use the double pointed needles. I was just going to suck it up and use the double pointed needles. But I really, no, first I was doing magic loops. Yes, that's it. I was doing magic loop at first on the smaller size needles, and it was too finicky for the hat for some reason, and I wasn't really enjoying it. So after the first few rows, I switched to double pointed needles. And as I told you, I really didn't like the size 8 needles at all. So what I did was, instead of using the size 6 and 8 needles, I used the size 6 for the smaller needle, and I had a pair of double pointed size 7 needles that I really liked. So I used that for the hat portion. And I think it turned out really nice and lovely, and I think it shouldn't be a problem fitting the baby. Also, considering I had a larger row gauge anyway, I know it shouldn't be a problem. And I think those are all the details. But yeah, I did add a little bit of the Cascade 220 Superwash, which was a slightly lighter blue, just to give some depth to the pom-pom so it wasn't so saturated. So I'm really happy about these items, and my sister and her husband, they saw the picture that I shared on Instagram, and they both commented that they just absolutely loved it. And so I'm happy that they both loved it. And I'm calling this complete. I did block it. And my method for blocking with acrylic, because this is 100% acrylic content, then I just dumped it, and I used, instead of using the Kristen Amdahl's Rapture that I use product that I usually use for wool, I just used the regular washing powder, and I dumped it and let it soak for about 15 minutes. Then I rinsed it out, and I wringed out the excess water. Then following that, I pinned it to the blocking mat, and then I hovered an iron over it, about maybe an inch or so over the projects, and then I just pressed the steam block. So I steam blocked it and it came out really smooth and even. And so that's what I do with acrylic yarn. Next, I ordered these little tags from Amazon, and I'm not sure if you saw the details, but it says handmade with love. And because it's finished, but I'm going to attach it maybe to the inside of that and also to the inside of the sweater. And so I don't know why I put off getting these tags, considering how much I like to especially make baby knits and gifts for friends. And so now I have these tags, and I have a 50 count of the tags for future items that I make as gifts. So that's the flax sweater. I was inspired definitely by Rachel's version on the Hey Sister podcast. She made the flax light version, but I just made the regular flax version using a worsted weight yarn. Okay, so let's talk about some sewing things that I made. I'm going to talk in detail about things that I may have made modifications or changes to, but I also have quite a few things to share. So if I didn't make any major changes or any details that I don't really need to cover, then I'll just briefly talk about each pattern or each project. So let's start with the orange bateen dress. In the previous episode, I was telling you that I made, I showed you my pink bateen and also my black bateen dress. And I did it exactly this version here with the pockets for both of those versions. And I did add an inch to the hemline. Other than that, I kept everything the same. And I told you that I had cut out fabric to do an orange bateen dress, but this time I changed the shape of the skirt. I made an A-line. And the way that someone asked how I did that, it's kind of weird how I had this pattern, but it's kind of loosely based off of the shape of the Hollyburns skirt, but not quite, because I used the version B of the Hollyburns skirt as a type of guide, but I still didn't use the entire skirt. I just pretty much used that angle that flared out, and I used that and put it on top of the Tilly pattern just to kind of hat the skirt so it could be an A-line skirt. And I didn't add the pockets to this version, so that made the pattern go by even quicker. And I did add the button tabs, and I told you I was going to go with the navy button tabs, which I quite like. And here's the finished dress, and it's really bright, but I really like it. And I actually wore it. I told you I wanted the bateen dresses to be my running errands dresses. I could just pull them over my head and just go. And there was one day that I was running quite a few errands, and it's crazy because everywhere I went, people were stopping me and saying that they liked my dress a lot. And I thought it was such a simple dress, but maybe, I don't know, it's the color, but I was so happy to just say thank you. And I don't know, whenever people tell me they like my clothes, I just say thank you. I don't know if I should say thank you, I made it. I don't know, so I just say thank you. But I was also went to pick up my sewing machine on that same day because they had it ready, that vintage sewing machine I shared with you in the last episode, and it's all fixed and it's all perfect, and he has all of the stitches working, and he gave me a little sample showing all of the stitches that were working. So when I went into the sewing center, everyone was saying, oh my goodness, I love your dress, and they were like, did you make that? And one lady was telling me that an orange dress was the first, in this color was the first dress that she'd ever made as her sewing project. So it brought back memories. So yes, I like it quite a bit, and I'm really pleased with it. And that fabric is just a cotton quilting fabric, I believe. I bought from Joann's about 2 years ago in Raleigh, North Carolina. So after that, I told you I had a few days, about 3 days break before classes started for the semester. And so I wanted to create 3 dresses. I had this big goal in my mind. And I was definitely inspired by Maria from the Stitched in Sweden podcast, because about 2 episodes back, she did this wonderful episode that I just thoroughly enjoyed. And also her most recent episode. It was a unique format in that she started the day with the timestamp, and she had a goal to create a certain number of sewing projects within that day. And she created quite a few things, some tops, some cardigans. It was just, it was the best episode. And so I really enjoyed the episode, and it just really motivated me that maybe I should set a goal one weekend or a day to create some items. So I didn't set a goal for a day, but I did set a weekend goal that I wanted to finish 3 dresses in 3 days. And so that's what I did. And I'll just talk about those dresses. I knew that if I was going to do 3 dresses, that I needed to go with the pattern that I really liked, that is tried and true and tested, and that I was really familiar with. And so I went with the Simplicity 2444. And so it is this pattern here, and this time I just went for the sleeveless version, which is kind of here. I went for the sleeveless version because previously I did make the Simplicity 2444, and I made it 3 times before. I made a plaid version, I made an African print version with sleeves, and I've made a floral corduroy version. And so it's funny because now I have 6 versions of that dress. So I made the version with the sleeves when I first wanted to practice sleeves, but as you wear clothes, you figure out what you like. And I like that dress a lot, but whenever I wear it with the cardigan, it's kind of annoying when you have to put the cardigan over it and you have to kind of tuck your sleeves down under the cardigan. Whereas when I wear the sleeveless versions of my dresses, then I can just put my cardigan over it and I could just go, and I don't have to tuck things into place. Also, I like the sleeveless versions because I can layer collared shirts under them, and I can wear them with vests. And so it's just, they have more of a remix capability. And because I wanted to have some dresses that were a part of my school wardrobe, of course I wear them other places, but this is my typical uniform I wear to school, which is a dress with a cardigan and some loafers, because some days you don't feel like thinking about an outfit. So I just go with my typical uniform, which is fit and flare dress, cardigan, loafers. Then I know I'll feel good and feel great in my outfit, and I can concentrate on my studies. So I made 3 versions of the Simplicity 244 dress. And yes, I did complete my weekend goal. I actually cut out, how did I do it? I cut out the fabric on a Thursday night for all of the dresses. Then on Friday, I finished a dress. And then on Saturday, I finished 2 dresses. And it was really fun creating those dresses, but I can't say by the time the 3rd dress came along, then I was just tired and I was pooped, but I was so determined to finish the dress that I rushed the zipper insertion. And so it didn't come out as lovely as the first 2 versions, but I'm still happy with it nonetheless. So the first version, and before I talk about these, I will insert a picture of the orange batine dress here. So the first version I wanted to go for was a really fun print. And I think I shared this print with you before. And I've been wanting a dress with little fruit on it forever. And I wasn't sure what type of fruit. This summer, quite a few people on Instagram and all of the sewing blogs created dresses with lemons on them. And I was really inspired by those. But then I also I was looking at some fabric on fabric.com of apples. I thought apples would be nice fruit to wear year round. And so I then decided upon, I saw this cherry fabric here, not here, but at the Walmart at home, and I absolutely loved it. And I had planned to make this into Butterick 6453, I think that's it, a Gertie pattern. And it has this vintage feel, and I made it before with the fitted version, but I wanted to make the gathered skirt version. And as you know, those vintage type dresses use quite a bit of fabric. So I have 4 yards of this, like the pattern suggested, but I didn't take into account the one-way fabric design, which I needed more fabric for, or the cherries would have been upside down, which I did not want at all. And so I had to change my plans, and that's when I decided to go with just Simplicity 2444, and I am really pleased with it. And I like that the zipper is exposed in its simplicities, because it gives me an opportunity to just have fun in the zipper section, and I love colored zippers. So I went for a red to pick up the red of the cherries. And I wore this dress the first day of class, and I received a compliment on it. And so it was just a perfect dress, and I really like it. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it. I did not do the pleats that were in the pattern for this version. I simply did a gathered skirt. Other than that, everything else is the same. And I will insert a picture of myself wearing the cherry print dress. So next, you remember on the first episode of this podcast, I was wearing my floral corduroy dress that I love. I like it so much, and I wanted more floral corduroy dresses. And I still want more, because I just really, I think that they're probably the most versatile piece, because it has a nice weight to it, but it's not a heavy corduroy. It's a lightweight corduroy. And so I made another in this fabric. I bought the fabric from fabric.com, and I really, really adore those blue flowers. And this time I did include the pleats. I'm not sure if you can see them. And these pleats came out perfect. My previous version, the pleats weren't so perfect, and my plaid version, the pleats did not come out that nice. But they still look good, but they weren't perfect. But these came out really, really nicely. And I'm so happy with it. And it's funny because I think the cherry print is definitely, it was the biggest hit of the 3 dresses amongst my family members, and also just people commenting. But my favorite, my personal favorite, is the floral corduroy, because I like corduroy and I like flowers, and then it's blue flowers. And then I was able to put a blue zipper for that, and it's really lovely. So other than that, I kept the pattern the same, and I kept the pleats, so no changes made with that version. And I will insert a picture wearing that blue floral dress here. And finally, I made a Simplicity 2444 in a navy polka dot color. And I really like that green polka dot dress that I shared from a couple of episodes about, I'm not sure when, and it was Simplicity 1803, and I like it a lot, and I wear it quite a lot. I would dress it up, I would dress it down, I would wear it with heels to church or to special events, but yet I also wear it with just some sandals, some flat sandals. So I like the versatility of that dress. And so I wanted another that would be even more versatile than the green polka dot. So I went for a navy polka dot. The fabric is Waverly fabric, and I bought it from Walmart when I was back home. And this, I followed the pattern, except this time I went for the gathered skirt. And my zipper this time is white to pick up those white dots. Now, I told you I was rushing when it came to this dress, and the instructions tell you that you should base the zipper, which I always usually do when I create this dress, and then you sew over that basting stitch. And I didn't do that. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sew. I'm just going to pin it in place and I'm just going to sew it. And my zipper, the seam is off. Let's see. Here. I don't know. It's off by about 1/4 of an inch. I mean, it's no biggie. I notice it. But when sewing, when you make little minor mistakes, after a while you move on from the mistakes and you kind of forget about the mistakes after a while. And the dress still fits really lovely. And I will insert a picture of myself wearing the polka dot dress here. So that was my weekend goal. That was last weekend. And I accomplished that goal. And I was pretty surprised and also very, very happy that I accomplished that goal because I added 3 new dresses to my wardrobe. So overall, the handmade wardrobe is going along wonderfully. And I'm really excited about just adding more staple garments and really building up my signature style. So then I made some Hollyburns, as you know. I made quite a few Hollyburns, all in solid colors. But I wanted to make some Hollyburns in floral prints. And I also wanted to try out the Hollyburn, and this is the Sewaholic Hollyburn pattern. And this time I wanted to try out the longer version because I just wanted to do a midi skirt. And the other version that I typically make is the knee length version, and I've only made the shorter version once, which I don't wear that version much. So I wanted to make a floral skirt. And this fabric I bought from Joann's, and I just like the flowers. And I don't know if you can see closely, the flowers have little, it's kind of like they have pink within them. So there's pink within the flowers. And I like that a lot. I didn't do the button tabs or the belt loops for the floral versions just because I felt like the print, with printed skirts is so busy, you know, it's really all about the shape more so. And I didn't even know if you would notice the button tabs or if I would even want to wear a belt with it. So I just kept the waistband simple and I just created the skirt. So I kept, as I was saying, I kept the waistband simple and I went with a black zipper. And I really like this version. I wore it already for a full day on Friday. It's quite a busy day. And it was just the perfect skirt, easy, breezy to put on. And I really just enjoyed wearing it. And there's not much to say about it. The fabric was inspired because I wanted something with small floral prints, because there's this company called Plum and Pigeon. I love their Etsy shop. And I was looking at a documentary with Lucy Worsley. And she was wearing the Jane Austen special. And she was wearing all of these beautiful floral dresses throughout the special. And then I was looking at Plum and Pigeon's Etsy shop. And I was like, those look like the same dresses. And sure enough, on their Facebook page, they were saying Lucy Worsley wore their dresses for that special. And so this, of course, Liberty of London fabric is not in my budget right now. So this was just inspired by those small floral prints. And I really, really like how it came out. And I actually bought this skirt with this fabric, which we'll talk about later, together with the intention, of course, wearing it together. Of course, I will wear the pieces with other things as I've already done. But that was also a factor when I brought them together. And so we're moving along really nicely with the finished objects. So the final finished objects I want to talk about are my Agnes tops by Tilly and the buttons. First off, Tilly is amazing. I've said that over and over. I like her patterns. I like the instructions. They're so clear. They're just so wonderful. Anything that you're afraid of, it's like Tilly is holding your hand throughout the process. I love the packaging of all of her projects, and each packaging has a cute background, and this background has little anchors, which is so adorable. Oh my goodness, I forgot. I'm glad I have my notes here. I created another Hollyburns skirt. So before I talk about the Agnes top, and I will insert a picture of myself wearing the other Hollyburns skirt, which I think I may have said already. I don't know. I feel like I'm everywhere. And then I want to talk about this other Hollyburns skirt that I made, which is also a floral print. And my sister purchased this fabric for me when we went home this summer, and we were in the fabric section, and she bought it from Walmart. And I was looking at the floral prints because, as I was stating, I was just really inspired by all of the floral prints and plum and pigeon creations. And so I was looking at more so the floral prints that I showed you previously. But my sister is not a fan of floral prints, and she wasn't really liking anything that I was picking up. And so she purchased this fabric for me because she liked this floral, because she felt, I guess, it was more realistic. And the fabric is, I forgot the brand, but I know that it's called Flowers and Herbs. And you can see yes, I think that it looks really realistic, the flowers. They aren't really like cartoon-like florals. And so when she showed it to me, she said, "What do you think about this?" And I was like, I actually like that. And so she purchased it for me. I wasn't sure what I was going to make with it. I was thinking about maybe a simple dress. But in the end, I felt that maybe a skirt would be best. And I'm really happy that I made a skirt with it, and I like it a lot. And I wore it to church today, and it's just a really nice, easy skirt. And again, I made that Hollyburn skirt. Version A again. Kept the waistband simple, and I also went for the longest length, which is what version A is. So I will insert a picture wearing this version of the Hollyburn skirt here. Okay, back to the Agnes top. As you can see, I'm very excited about this pattern, and this is the project that I was most excited about because I feel as if I accomplished something. I never worked with knits before, knit fabric, and I was nervous about it. Of course, I was building it up in my mind. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, but I was going to I'm going to take the plunge, and I'm going to make some knit fabrics because, like I said, I want a handmade wardrobe, and I think knit tops are just a must, right? In a handmade wardrobe. So I was anxiously waiting for this pattern to arrive, and I already purchased the fabric and everything before the pattern arrived because I was so excited about it. So I was in Joann specifically looking for knit fabrics, and I don't know the first thing about looking for knit fabrics, but I knew I wanted a solid knit because what was it? I've been looking at the Fruity Knitting podcast, which I've always looking at their episodes and their past episodes because they're just so amazing. And Andrea, one of the hosts of the podcast, she created some Agnes tops for her daughter Madeline, and all of the versions she created were so lovely. She made a solid print version, which was in navy. She made a polka dot version, and also this novelty print version that was just amazing. I liked all of them so much. So when I saw those versions, I was like, I have to get this pattern. So I knew I wanted to make a solid print version with the puff sleeves because it looked really amazing. It's like it highlighted the solid color, but you had a nice detail. So I went to Joann's and I was looking for knit fabric. And this one knit fabric, it just said solid knits and anti-peel. And I said, oh, that's nice. It was quite a bit more than I expected, than I was willing to spend. I'm not sure if it was $9.99 per yard or $12.99 per yard. And I was like, but I really like the feel of the knit fabric, and it wasn't really thin. I think that this is definitely a medium weight knit fabric, and I like that anti-peel factor that they had connected with the fabric. So I was like, you know what, I think it'll be worth it, because this is something that's going towards my wardrobe. Of course, it's going to get a lot of wear. And so in the end, I said, it's just a couple of more dollars than I typically would spend on fabric, but I still thought that was a good deal. So, and I did have a coupon. So I was able to use the coupon, and I purchased this pink fabric, and I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with it that I actually went back and purchased, of course, some green of the same fabric, because as you all know, I really like pink is my favorite color and green is my favorite color to wear, and so I wanted a green version of this top. So I made the version here with the puff sleeves, and the amazing thing about this pattern is that Chile has the little booklet that accompanies it, and she had this section, tips for sewing jersey, and oh my goodness, I read that entire section, and it was just, I'm so happy she included that section, because I also think that that just made the process go by so wonderfully smooth. And I knew that I needed a ballpoint needle, and so I purchased that a few weeks back. And I like this because Tilly said on her blog that you can make a jersey top without, even if you don't own a serger, which I don't own. And Andrea, she doesn't own a serger either. She has a sewing machine just like me. I mean, not the same sewing machine, but she has a sewing machine. And so that's why I really wanted to try this out, because I wanted to see her tips for sewing jersey without a serger. And it was just wonderful. So yeah, I'll talk about, first I'll talk about the first version I made. The first version I made using this lightweight cotton jersey fabric. The fabric was purchased from fabric.com, and I knew I wanted a polka dot version, because polka dot is definitely a versatile piece. You can wear it with almost any color and it'll just pop, and I thought it'd be a great layering factor under my denim pinafore dress. And so I went for a basic cotton floral. And I really need to learn how to use that ruler on fabric.com, because I thought the polka dots would be kind of like these, like small polka dots, but they came and they were large polka dots. But when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I really like the large polka dots, even more so than the small polka dots. So I kept it. And I went with this version first because I liked the fabric, but I didn't want to cut into my really nice knit fabric, considering I spent more money on it and I wasn't sure how the pattern would turn out. So I wanted to use some fabric that wasn't quite so precious to me, and so to get a feel for the pattern. And I also wanted to practice my ruching detail, so I added it to the middle just like she has in the second version of the pattern, and I kept the sleeves plain. When I tell you I love this top, I love this top. I haven't worn it yet. I just finished it yesterday. And it worked up so quickly. Oh my goodness. I was amazed by how quickly it worked up. And I'm so happy with this detail. It was so fun to make. Like attaching that elastic and then the process of tugging it down and doing this zigzag stitch over it. I don't know why I was having so much fun. But it's like the nice little detail to a simple top. And I cannot wait to wear it with everything. And so that was the first version. And when that went by so wonderfully, I was so excited that I wanted to do the second version. So I immediately started the second version. And I was really excited about this part here, the puff sleeves. And before I talk about the pink version, I will insert a picture of myself wearing the polka dot version here. So I wanted a version, of course, with the puff sleeves, because that was the version when Madeline was wearing that version in the Fruity Knitting episode. It looked so beautiful to me, and I just wanted to make it so badly. So I got started, and I knew I wanted to keep the neckline simple since I wanted the sleeves to get the attention. So I went with the simple neckline and also the little puff sleeves, which they're just amazing. And that part was just fun, just as fun as the other version, using the elastic, and it was just so much fun. And like the sleeves are created, you have this like tall part to the sleeve, and then you put that elastic in, which draws it up. Then you use gathering stitches to fit it into the armhole. Like I said, it was just so much fun. I was just having a really good time. And I really want to make another version. Well, I will make another version. As I told you, I have that green fabric, and I plan on making a green version of this. So overall, the Agnes top is such a hit, and I know that this is a pattern that I will revisit over and over and over again. Because like I said, you can never have, well, you can have too many. But I think that knit tops are a staple in my wardrobe, and I'm just really excited about building up my handmade wardrobe. And I will insert a picture of the pink Agnes top, which you probably saw I was wearing it with this skirt, but I will show a picture of it here. And I'll just also give a little close-up. These are the puff sleeves. And you can see it has, I'm not sure you can see, but there's a zigzag stitch all around the neckline. Yeah, it's kind of hard to turn around in this little space. So that is it for the finished objects. And I'm really happy with each and every one of them, but like I said, I'm most excited about the Agnes tops that I created, and I want to make more. I look forward to making more. And now we'll move into works in progress. Okay. After I created my nephew's flax sweater and barley sweater, like I said, I was looking at the Simple collection by Tin Can Knits, and I saw that they had a harvest cardigan, and I really liked it. And I just like all of the designs in the Simple collection because of the use of it's just knit and purl, and it's just the perfect project to, I don't know, keep things, I don't know, how can I describe it? Sometimes when I come from class or a full day, especially if it was very intense, then I am not in the mood to work with more complex knits, and I just want to relax. And also, I may not even be in the mood to sew or to cut fabric, so excuse me. And so I like the patterns in this collection because they're perfect projects to look at while you're I may have to go and get some water. But they're the perfect projects to work on while you're looking at Netflix and you're just trying to wind down before you head in for the night and start another day the next day. And so I saw the Harvest cardigan, and I wanted to make a little sweater, or cardigan, for my classmate's little girl. So she just turned 1 year old in August, a few weeks ago. And I just thought that I really want to make something for her little baby. She's the sweetest little girl. And we often have lunch together, and she'll bring the baby along. Or if she's meeting with one of our professors, then I'll watch the baby. And so I wanted to make something for the little girl. And I thought this would be just a perfect little sweater. And I also want to make a dress to go along with the sweater, which I'll talk about in a minute. So this is what I have so far of the Harvest sweater. It has this garter stitch panel around the neck, and then the rest is stockinette, and then it has garter stitch on the cuffs of the sleeves. So I'm using, oh my goodness, I hope that I have the color right. I don't have the yarn label with me, but I know that this is Vanna's Choice yarn, and it's 100% acrylic content, and the color is Eggplant. I hope it's eggplant. If not, I will put the correct information in the show notes. And I just thought it was so pretty, that purple. And so, yeah, I'm making this. What size am I making? Since she just turned 1, then I'm making the 1 to 2 year old size. And I'm looking forward to finishing that and giving it to her. And I'll show you also, I pre-washed the fabric. I pre-washed the fabric for that's going to go with the cardigan. And I just really, really adore the little owls on the little branches and the little birds. I love owls. I have owls everywhere, and I'm constantly wearing my little owl jewelry, which I'm not wearing today, surprisingly, but that's typically what I wear, my owl earrings with my owl necklace and owl ring. And so if it has anything to do with owls, then I kind of flock to it. I even have an owl dress, which I just really like. So I thought that this would be really adorable on the little girl with the cardigan. That purple background, I think it's a good match. I think it's a really nice match. So the pattern that I want to use is, I want a really simple pattern because I just thought this would be nice. And these are those patterns that they have in Joann's, the See and Sew patterns 3889. And I want to, of course, I'm making that version of the dress. And it has little tie strap shoulders. And I wanted something simple and easy I could make. And I figured that even when it gets colder, she could layer a long sleeve top under it. Or, of course, she could wear the cardigan that I'm going to make along with it. And I think it'll look nice even in the summer. And I wanted a simple, quick pattern that I could work up, you know, after class or early in the morning before I headed to classes. And this pattern has no zippers. It's just a simple, beautiful cotton dress. And I just think it'll look lovely with this fabric. I purchased 2 yards of the fabric because, again, this is that one-way fabric. I think I may have to pause and go get some water soon. But this is that one-way fabric. It's a one-way design. And so usually, as I stated, with the one-way design, I have to account for more fabric. So I have 2 yards of this. And hopefully all of the little owls and birds will be going the correct way. So that's the work in progress for this episode. And the acquired treasures, I also purchased another Tilly pattern, the Zadie dress. And I want to make the long sleeve version. And you can see how it has little color block details, or you can keep it simple. And I think that what I'm going to do is I have this black and white scribble fabric, and I want to use that for the middle section, and the only color block section I want to have is some black at the waist. But I'm not rushing. I want to make the long sleeve version of this dress. And I plan to, no, not the long sleeve, the 3/4 sleeves. And I plan to start this, I don't know, when it gets colder. It's already starting to get a little breezy in the morning, but I think it'll be the perfect fall dress. And of course I'll probably wear it in transitioning periods also, but that's what I want to do. So I'm excited about that. So that's an acquired treasure. I also purchased some woolies while I was at Joann's, and the color is Forest Green Heather. Because, again, I was looking at the Simple Collection by Tin Can Knits, and I really like the wheat scarf. And I don't have any scarves. I think I mentioned that I lost all of my scarves, my hand-knit scarves, and hats. And so I need to make a scarf and also a hat for this upcoming fall and winter season. So I plan to make the wheat scarf for myself, and I'm also planning to make a wheat scarf for my father, but I'm going to use some stash yarn that I already have for the for the fall and winter. And finally, my acquired treasure. It is more corduroy floral fabric because I really, really like my floral corduroy dresses. They're probably my favorite. And so I've already pre-washed the fabric, and I purchased this from fabric.com. And it was on clearance, like a buyout or something. So they were trying to get rid of it. And so it was at a great price. I think this is my favorite of the two because I really like the oranges and gold color in that fabric. And again, it's the same type of corduroy. It's a lightweight corduroy. It has a really nice weight and drape that I really like, that I flock to. So I plan to make yet another Simplicity 2444. With this, I think that's what I'm going to go for. Then I also purchased this floral corduroy, and I really like the little bitty pink flowers. I think that's really just adorable, and I like pink, and I'm planning to wear this one, of course, with a lot of cardigans, but I'm thinking about my pink heady cardigan the most when I am thinking about this. And I want to make Simplicity 2444 again with this fabric, and yeah, so I'm excited about that. I've already pre-washed the fabric, so it's just a matter of me cutting it, or ironing it first, cutting it, then sewing it. So I have maybe a little bit of general chatter, not much. I wanted to keep this episode in under an hour. And so someone asked on Instagram, her Instagram name is Chris with a K, it's great. She asked if I could cover how I manage my time with and to create with sewing and knitting with my schedule. So I am a full-time student, and the semester started, the fall semester, so I'm taking a full load, 9 credit hours. And I also work a job, and it's 20 hours. And I'm a project manager for a position. And so, yes, I work and I am in school, and it can be quite a full schedule. And so I don't know if I have a set out plan, but what I do usually, I'm not sure, I'm really big into lists, and I just like to write them out and just plan them out. And that list could be, do your readings for this class, check the emails from so-and-so from work, respond, and then in that list I also, and I put like, try to include it in list of priority, and to finish it by a certain date. And then I also have these little list charts that have the different days of the week on them, so I could put the list according to each day. And then within that list, I like to add craft time or fun time, and then I'll add maybe cut Simplicity fabric tonight, and then the next day I'll probably include sew parts of Simplicity tomorrow. And so I try to do that. And of course, when the semester usually gets really intense near the end, then I usually just let go of all crafting time, and I just, probably because I just can't concentrate on crafting things at the moment. For example, with that last class I took, I don't know if I kind of went radio silent on my social media and Instagram. Maybe I was kind of absent for about 3 to 4 days, and that usually happens quite a bit when I go through those moments when it's final period and when I have a lot of papers due. And then during those times that I'm kind of radio silent and social media and not checking anything, then if you sent me a message, I'm not sure, and I'll try to check, but if I delay in responding, then that's the reason why, because it's usually during an intense period in my life. So that's how I do. And also my plan to get crafting things achieved, my plan for this semester is to focus on tried and true patterns that I know won't disappoint me, such as the Tilly patterns, such as the Simplicity patterns that I've used before. And I'll save the testing out of unique and new patterns for a break period, just to see how it goes. And I do still want to cast on a more complex knit pattern this semester, and I just need to make plans, or will be making plans to cast on my Alistar Moore, the Lady Jane Grey cardigan. So that's like the biggest thing that's in my mind, and I want to at least cast it on before the year is out and finish it. So if you have any questions, comments, or anything, just let me know either in the comment section below, or you can send me a message on Instagram or Ravelry, whichever you prefer, and I'll be sure to get back with you. All right, you all have a great next 2 weeks, and I'll see you again later. Bye.